Let's bring in Greg Cote. How you feeling today?
You know what? I'm luxuriating in the uninterrupted air conditioning of my hotel room.
Did you cramp up writing your column last night?
You know, my hands, yeah. I came up with sudden carpal tunnel syndrome or something that I owe to the conditions.
All right. When did you know something was up in the building and and how it was affecting LeBron?
It was apparent pretty early. I remember in the first quarter, a colleague turned to me and said, "I'm sweating bullets, and all I'm doing is typing." And you saw people, fanning themselves as if they were in the Sahara. It was a weird condition from the beginning, but there was also a cumulative effect. And by the second half, it really was pretty oppressive.
But you would think that kind of temperature, those conditions would affect an older team like the Heat. Why did it affect LeBron and not, Duncan or Ginobili or Parker, whoever?
Yeah, LeBron has a history of cramping. It's been an issue for him in the past. They were combating it during the game, but LeBron said after the game that it was just so hot in there that all the fluids he was putting in himself were disappearing. So it was an extraordinary situation that brought on the cramping, and it did affect the game. You can't say for sure that it cost Miami a win, but it sure led to Miami not having its best player for crucial portions of the fourth quarter.
Finish this. If someone in the media calls LeBron soft.
Well, they're idiots. They haven't followed his career. This is a guy, he's an Iron Man. This is a guy who does not miss games. He certainly doesn't miss playoff games. And he was hurting last night. He tried twice to go back in, and it's just the cramps he was having were debilitating to him. And he wanted to go in yet again, and Spoelstra said, "Are you kidding?" Because he looked at him and saw that he couldn't even move. The entire left side of his body, not just his leg, was cramping up, and he couldn't go. But, I don't think you can fairly question. I saw somebody on Twitter tweeted, "Come on, drink a Gatorade and get back out there." That's just not the way it works.
That was Jonathan Martin, the former Dolphin, who said that.
Yeah, and of all people, by the way.
Talking to Greg Cote, Miami Herald columnist, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. I liken it to having an expensive car but a bad alternator. The alternator goes, you still have this beautiful, sports car, but you can't move, and that's what happened to LeBron. The alternator went, and he couldn't. Anybody who's had cramps understands you don't have any control over. You can fluids, IV maybe, but it controls you.
Oh, absolutely, and it did him, and the Heat, as you can imagine, at halftime and throughout the game, they were doing everything they could to make sure that the effects were minimal. But in the fourth quarter, when they needed him the most, he just wasn't available to them. And man, what an effect it had.
All right, as we go forward, I'm assuming the air conditioning will be repaired by Sunday. But what do you think? How does Miami respond? They don't lose back-to-back playoff games.
Yeah, that's been the DNA of this team the past few years. They haven't. I think they've played 45, 46 games in a row in the postseason without losing two in a row, and that goes back 2 years to early June of 12, and they have to keep that streak alive, or else they're hurting. And now all of a sudden, the 2 games between the 2 days between games is something that is good for Miami because LeBron needs that time to rehab.
All right, enjoy the air conditioning, Greg.
Oh, I am.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay.
Greg Cote, Miami Herald columnist.